Hello, it's Greg Allison from Green Greg's coming to you on the 14th of November 2021. Time on deck is 3,300 hours Central Standard Time. And I'm talking to you today about hope, about Hopeium. We need a new drug called Hopeium. And it's very vital to keep people motivated and going forward in these hard, dreariest times that are before us. One thing you can always find hope in, and solace, is Mother Nature. Because Mother Nature always seems to give us some beauty no matter what, in some form or fashion, if you're just able to accept it and stop and soak it in. That's why we all need to walk out in the woods and take a nature bath. But, you know, I just did a video about, is it a crime to be a male? Is it a crime to be a man? Actually, I said it was. That was the premise of my video. Guys are having a hard time. Well, girls are too. We've got tough times ahead of us. Very tough times are coming. And a lot of people just feel like giving up because they're struggling so hard. Well, Greg, why should I go on? Why should I do it? And I've actually had people ask me that. And why shouldn't we just declare war? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Why just go on? Well, one thing is, in the end, we win. Okay? We just got a rough ride ahead of us. That's the way I see it. We got a rough ride. But there is hope. There's things you can do. There's things you can do. You know, find something, a goal. Everybody needs a goal. Everybody needs an objective. And there are worthy goals and objectives that you can take on to do in the very worst of times. And there are those that survive in the very worst of times. I've opened up 2 power grid defense conferences telling everybody in the audience, I always said to them, I said, no matter how arduous things are, no matter how bad it is, no matter how rough the going is, I always rest in the solace that there is a silver lining around every mushroom cloud. You know, boom, atomic. Alrighty, that's kind of a bad joke, but there's truth in that. There are those who will do well in the very worst of situations, including good people. I mean, we think of the people running this world and what they're putting upon us, and it really discourages a lot of people. But there are things we can do to persevere, to overcome that. And so let's talk about it. I'm out here walking around my greenhouse area. I love the trees. We're going to walk into the woods up here, because the nature bath is part of it. Okay, guys, here it is. So what can you do? We need hope. We need encouragement. We need a future. We need things for people to look forward to. When I tell you in the end we win, we will. Don't mean there's not going to be a price to be paid, that things won't get rough along the way. But we survive. We'll make it. But you can have goals. Everybody's got to have goals and objectives. Oh yeah. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Bang the update notification bell and click all. Bang that bell. Also, check out my links to my Patriot Supply. Right now you get $100 off a 3-month supply of food that lasts 25 years. And with inflation raging the way it's going to be going, that's going to be a good investment. Down the road, you'll be glad you got it. Alrighty guys, so now we'll talk it. Yeah, check my links below. Also, all you got to do is go to prepwithgreg.com for that supply deal. Prepwithgreg.com. Okay, now we'll get on to it. The people that really make it in life and do the best are the people that set goals. Don't always mean your original path to get there is the one to get you there. You may have to work. You have to work at it. You got to work hard at it. You know, one of the famous rock stars says, "Hey, if you want to be a rock star, you're not going to get it by playing your guitar 8 or 10 hours a day. You got to do it all day." He says, "I play my guitar when I'm on the toilet." So, if that gives you an idea, yeah, if you succeed, sometimes you got to put in a little extra oomph. You know, things don't come to you easily. Like in my dad's generation, they worked really hard. They busted just to be able to set the table and eat. They didn't make any money. They didn't get any money. But they worked harder than just about anybody today. Really hard. And we're very motivated to do it. So these are things that we can think about. And it may come to that again as we live through the challenge, survive the challenges we face. But we can do that. We're going to take a nature walk, guys. How about this? We can do that. We can survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. All right, but goals. What can be your goals? These are goals that you might inspire other people to, because guess what? You need to inspire other people. We need people inspired. I've talked about that in my last video, how you need to reach out to these other young people that are in the doldrums and pick them up. Goals are one of the best ways to do it. Challenge them. Challenge them to achieve a higher purpose in life. What can be the higher purposes? Well, it can always be your faith. By pursuing your faith and spreading it. Some people are having a hard time resonating with that these days. But people do resonate with this, the environment. They resonate with Mother Nature, the sun. They worry about preserving the earth. The earth does need some attention, but a lot of the attention given to it isn't the kind it really needs. A lot of people are worried too much plant food's in the atmosphere. I'm not so worried about that, although my concepts would definitely take a lot out probably, but for other reasons. I probably have the most carbon negative concept on earth. Better than Tesla's cars and solar panels and all that. That's living in my universal habitat. So there's your goal. Develop universal habitat, top habitats. Help me with things like that. Check out this lovely tree here, guys. Lovely gnarly tree. On the other side, and here's the one with moss all over it. And the moss is on the north side. Moss and ferns. But, you know, you don't always find that around here. This is clearly on the north side of the tree. You know, part of your directionality. This side. No, excuse me, it's on the south side. This is the north side. I said it wrong. Backwards. Pardon me, I do that every now and then. Get a little dyslexic, less dyslexic. Alright, so we got a critter hole here. It's always good to inspect. So goals are very, very critical. There, fresh diggings, that's an active critter hole. And there's been a snail go up this tree. So, here we got a skull. Well, I think that's the hip bones area. It's not a skull. Alright, these ferns. There's much to live for. These are grapes. These grapes, they're edible. By the way, those grape leaves are. So, think about this. A goal can be doing things that help the environment, help our country. Patriotism, helping your neighbor, helping little kids, getting involved in Big Brother programs. Those are things that people can do to help others. Helping others is a great goal. Also being creative. Become an artist, an artisan. You know, get your blacksmith forge, some woodworking equipment. Here's another critter hole. This one's new. Yeah, another critter den. Right there, critter den. Doing a little digging over there. Maybe I'll dig another one. The critters are multiplying out here. Critter den country. So, what can you do for nature? Well, one of the things I would propose again is do things along the elements of my universal habitat concept. You don't have to do the whole thing. Do parts of it if you're home. Or just grow your own food. Teach other people how to grow their own food to be healthy. Because when you're growing your own food, you're not relying on long shipment lines, logistics, trucking industry. You're saving fuel. And one of these days that might be critical. You're saving the environment. Something's been digging all right in here. Probably a deer or a skunk, you know, raccoons, possums. We got them all back here. Something's up into the mushroom there. So maybe your goal is career oriented. You can always try to achieve some career objective, life objective with family, objective with friends. You just got to find something that to you is a worthy goal. Something to you that is to strive for. Something better than just eating and, you know, watching TV and going to a bar and eating and drinking and just living like a plant growing in a weed growing in a field. You got to contribute somehow to the world, to society. Make it a goal to make the world a better place on the other side. Maybe write a little poetry. Maybe, like I said, do woodworking, become an artist, and these can be side ventures. Maybe your day job isn't giving you that sense of purpose, except for making a living for you, which is important. Supporting your family, your kids, that's important. One of the things I said in my last video is a man's got to man up. Well, that goes for a woman too, for that matter. You got to step up to your responsibilities. And that's taking care of your kids. A lot of people don't do that anymore, especially a lot of guys. Society doesn't encourage that because it encourages women to have kids out of wedlock with no guy associated. For guys, hey, they get a free, you know, little ride, and they ain't got to pay for it in the end. So that's kind of a bad thing in more ways than one. Let's go back to nature here. Guess where we wound up, guys. Over here in the kingdom of the walnut. I caught that because the vegetation around the walnut tree is markedly different here in the forest. They put out poisons into the soil that wipes out plants that compete with them, but some plants actually thrive. So maybe some plants are good for them. I don't know how that works, but there's been a lot of weeds underneath here. This big old walnut tree. It's a beautiful tree. By the way, you can make iodine from walnut husk. Just something y'all might want to know. And from a buddy Perry over in Sweden, just a reminder, this is Vinland around here. You can see Vinland, all these big vines. These big grapevines, wild grapevines. Back in the Viking days, these were up in New England, Nova Scotia. You don't find those there now. Why? The climate was warmer in the late medieval period, and that's a fact. So all the people trying to scare you today are just that, they're fearmongers. They tell you it's going to be the end of the time, they're telling you you're the problem. No, they're the problem. They got an agenda. I'll talk about that in another video right here soon. So, again, Hopeium. We need a new drug in society, Hopeium. And sometimes you just get hope walking in nature. It's called a nature bath. It's good for you. It's good for the soul, good for the psyche. You get to ponder things like what Doug here. I hope that airplane don't fall on me, you know, ponder things like that. Ha ha, just kidding. I'm pretty sure it won't. It sure would be nice to get up far enough not to see an airplane. Now look here, there's a big old squirrel nest up in that tree. Big old squirrel nest up there. High up, there's some walnut husk. Those are pretty well gone now. Came here earlier and collected some. Might have made some iodine. So, what to know? Hopeium. Set a goal. It can be a career, it can be family, it can be friends. The environment, helping the environment. And I'm thinking fighting CO2 is not the answer. It's other things. The environment needs a lot of help in many, many ways. And so just think about that. What can you do in your life to make a difference? What can you encourage someone else to do in their lives? A lot of people are without hope. They don't seem to have a purpose. Like I said, it could be spiritual. It could be your family. It can be your job. A lot of boys are living at home with mama and daddy into their 30s, maybe 40s these days. I think even past that. I think some in their 50s. Well, mom and dad ain't gonna live forever. And, it's time you man up. Go out and establish a life. It might be you make your living on the internet. That's okay. Just find something gainful. Something that can enable you to make a living, support yourself. And who knows, you might find yourself a family if that's your goal. Maybe not. A lot of guys are in the MGTOW movement these days because society has made it very dangerous to marry a woman. Because the laws favor her and very much in the end. So currently, the pendulum is hard over in that direction. So, yeah, there's a little trail through the woods. Sometimes people come back here with four-wheelers, but not too much. Something's been in here. Something disturbed the soil out there. It was a skid. Maybe it's a Bigfoot footprint. What do y'all think? See that? Big toe up there. Bigfoot walked through here. Looks like a Bigfoot footprint. Sasquatch. Sassy Squatch. Don't you love the trees? Don't you love nature? That's worth preserving, guys. If we had a world war, all this could be lost due to radiation and ozone. Mainly the loss of the ozone layer, which gives you ultraviolet radiation. If the power grid goes down, then we got problems. The goal could be help us to work to get the power grid hardened. Join committees, join organizations to do things worthwhile. Seek a position in organizations. Younger people aren't organization joiners. Think about changing that. Join clubs, organizations, local, national. Do things that you haven't done before. Try to make the world a better place. In the end, that's coming back to the same thing. Guys, in case you don't know, this little pine heartwood is called fat wood. Now that one's kind of rotted out. That's where you find good oils. It's good for starting fires. Just so you know. Just so you know that. So I see some trees are just dead standing out here. A few, most of them are healthy. Know this, a bug does not attack a healthy plant. So I just want y'all to know that. Some people don't know that. They think that trees are dying because of pine beetles. No, the pine beetles are attacking the trees because there's something else wrong with them. Maybe too much pollution, lack of a nutrient. Could be a lot of things. But that's just things to bear in mind. So trees finally settling down. How many times I've sat on that many times up. Further up it would make a good shelter. But she is beginning to settle, but she's wedged between all these other trees, so it'll be a slow settling. You know, you can make a lean-to like up there at the end and make you a survival shelter. Using all these dead branches around here. Cut some, put boughs over it, put leaves over it, bark if you can find it, like off that pine tree up there it's dead. Peel some of that bark off, use it for shingles. That would be a good little, I'm going to do bushcrafting one day on this channel. But maybe your goal would just be getting out in nature. You know, I think one of our purposes in this world is to give this world and this universe eyes and ears so that it can adore itself. So you might be accomplishing a holy mission just by taking a nature hike, rafting in a river. You ever think about that? That could be worthwhile. See, now this tree is caught in a Y here. I think the split between these branches, so it's pretty stable. That might be a little rotten. I wouldn't put a lot of weight on it. But you could come in here and make a makeshift shelter right here really fast. See that Y? Pardon me, maybe not showing that right off. And it just naturally fell there. So you got a natural makings if you're out in the woods in a hurry to have a shelter that might do it. Or you might find an old tree that's just leaning over like that one. That might do it. There's many ways to build a shelter. Look at all these leaning around here. Bowed over, leaning over. You find that in nature. So nature provides a way. Nature provides medicinals, food. You just got to know what it is and how to get it. I think there's something for every human element out here in Mother Nature. Our job is to discover it. And that may be a goal. Get involved in that. Become part of the herbal movement. Try to learn herbs, natural healing techniques, and share that. You know, you can make a living doing that, but you know, you got to use all the disclaimers, tell everybody you're not a doctor, and all that good, unhappy stuff. Thanks to our freedom of speech, given to us so grandiosely by the AMA and the federal government, the FDA, all these agencies that think that just by passing a regulation, not even legislation, or even sometimes legislation, that they can bypass the procedures for filing amendments to the Constitution that take 2/3 of the state to ratify them. Yeah, I think they've lost it. Hey, this could be a critter then. There's some more logs I pulled over here. Look at that. See that hole right there? Might be a critter back in there hiding. Yeah, I cut those logs and plan to use them. You know, that one's big enough to use for the log burner. It must have been too soft or something. Could have used it for the garden. So I used a lot of logs alongside my garden building my raised beds. I'll be switching to concrete blocks sometime in the future. Those logs are finally starting to rot out. They've been there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or longer. Wood hinge. Side of a future habitat project, I suppose. Okay, I've gone long, but I hope you enjoyed the hike. You know, we got a little nature hike out of it. Part of the purpose of that is hope. Just to talk hope. All right, my friends. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Bye-bye.